Good morning. Today, time is about 6:27, and I've been doing these lives during the tears of the pandemic when it began, kind of 2020, then. And um, that was also my way of kind of a little bit demonstrating on what's um, Nirbeach Yoga, but also how is it practiced and what are some of the benefits. Now, it being movementless yoga, yeah, foundational yoga, where even the when you're say you're lying horizontal, you're sleeping down, when the gravity as it affects your body is evenly distributed throughout kind of the bed or the floor that you're lying on takes the entire weight of your body. So your body is at kind of like baseline, so to speak. Yeah. When you sit up, there is some parts of your body that experiences weight from the gravity. Yeah, how gravity shifts weight, affects weight. And then when you're standing up, your feet is experiencing the weight of your body as gravity plays on your body. So lying horizontal is probably when you experience weight a little more evenly versus when you're sitting or when you're standing. Yeah. Um, so from that foundational thought line, if you're going to move, you're going to say lift one arm, or you're going to shift your head to a side, then the weight of your body is experienced differently along your spine, along your left and right sides of your body, along how your heart beats because of weight affecting nerves, affecting musculoskeletal system, along your respiratory system, how your body moves in the shift with weight. Just move your head one side or your arm one side, or you just stand with your hip with one side higher than the other. That affects how your entire body's tensegrity, so to speak, the tension along your body shifts. But what that does to your physiology is what is interesting. If we are not paying attention to how is the experience inside the body versus outside. Now, from outside is where your sense organs begin to bring more information. If you closed your eyes, you will see less information. But your body also responds to the information, to the stimulus through your eyes. You're seeing something, say a red rose, or a light, or a person. Your body is naturally shifting to adjust for this incoming new information. Yeah. Versus if you had your eyes closed, you and your other sensory faculties are not so hyper on, you would probably respond differently. If you're sleeping, when you're say sleeping, all the sense organs are at a lower, subdued, not so active to say fight or flight, unless your nervous system is so alert that you don't really rest even in your sleep. But nevertheless, your sense organs are functioning differently when you're asleep versus when you are sitting or even just awake. You're awake, and the weight of your body may be different when your sensory faculties are awake versus asleep. The weight of your body may shift. Yeah, that may also show up in the water weight because there is light affecting the magnetic properties of your body, and they also have an effect on the water. So, some amount of the weight that shifts through the day, morning, afternoon, evening, is because of the shift in water weight. And the water weight may be shifting because of your sensory awareness. How is your senses playing up on water, but also in response to available light? Yeah. Now, having said that, when I'm talking about movementless yoga, I'm talking about awareness at very fine levels. With or without this awareness, maybe a lot of exercises, dance practices, health maintenance practices, food practices, what you put into your body, that need not be just diet. It could also be, I'm snacking, but you're snacking on something. And that affects the weight of your body, your awareness, your sensory experience, your tongue senses that little snack differently, and your nervous system, your musculoskeletal system, your respiratory system, your circulatory system responds differently from this stimulus. So it becomes very fine and subtle. So, what is yoga then? Yoga, and I'm talking in terms of Nirbija yoga. If you consider bija as seed, or uh, you could say seeds of impression, but I also mean bija in terms of seed. We have seeds of ideas, we have dreams. They're also like seeds in Earth's womb, Earth's surfaces, new crops, some idea sprouts. You sleep, you wake up, or you eat food. What happens to the food over metabolism is also forming ideas. There is apoptosis and poiesis processes, which means there is cell cycles happening. And you would have seeds inside you of ideas of something you'd like to do, dreams, a seed of a dream. Yeah. And if you're nurturing it, you're doing something, you're taking action, or you're thinking about that seed of a dream more often than not. And you're taking care of your body consistent with nurturing it. Versus you have this dream of health, of doing something from healthy, versus doing something from just something is not working. So you're just going to plonk in front of a TV, or you're just going to pop um, food because you're going to kill a dream. Your actions would be different. Versus if you're going to nurture a dream, your actions would be different. You would follow up with, it requires certain diet practices, maybe. It requires certain actions by which you're having this seed grow. Now, we humans also are seeds of life. We have come into existence for a purpose. There is something that inspired us to come alive, and then we are here and in the family system and with the opportunities we have, and they all multiply. We have more people to support us, we have more opportunities when we are functioning consistent with the why for being in existence. So body already has the X side and the Y side, masculine and the feminine side, because we are formed from mother material. Now, having formed, what then has the seed function as well as it needs to is when we are doing things consistent with the seed growing. Jackfruit seed, or a banana seed, or strawberry seed, okay? It requires its own nutrients. If you're going to put jackfruit seed nutrients for strawberry, it's not necessarily going to grow as you would like it to, because strawberry is not getting what strawberry seeds are not getting what strawberry seeds need. Yeah. Similarly, your ideas, your dreams require their own unique practices, their own supports. And when you're doing things consistent with them, they grow. Now, what I'm talking about as movementless yoga, Nirbija yoga, and I'm saying Nirbija yoga, that which arises from like the stories that you have, is also one way to look at it. Narayana, your stories, his story and her story. When you're more in tune with the stories that you are, or where you've come from, Ishvara Pranidhana, Ishvara Pranidhana, Ishvara Pranidhana, yeah, the heartbeat, the time scales that you're born with, the wealth that you're born with, or don't. We all have some form of wealth, uh, parents' support, or the geography that you're born in, the wealth that is there of the land, of opportunities that's there in your geographical location, which is not available for somebody else because they have their own wealth. And Ishwar Pranidhana is the gifts that you have. You have certain talents, which is different from others. You have certain abilities from the environment, which then has you have certain talents, nurture them. So, and then, so the stories that you have, like Narayana, and then N. Yeah, it's all N is also kind of like nitrogen, but let's just go with Narayana stories. And then what emerges from there is also seed. Yeah, and we may have lots of dreams. Some people have dream catchers to be able to tie their dreams all together. Yeah, it's like capturing all the seeds together and then having a weave out of it. Some people make tattoos, but it's all painful. I have what I call as Prakriti. Like my whole body is like my memory palace, but it's also kind of weaver. Yeah. When I'm paying attention to how my heart is beating, the rhythms of my body, when I'm sleeping, when I'm sitting down, when I'm standing. I call it the Vishnu pose when you're horizontal, yeah, Brahma pose when you're sitting, and Maheshwara pose, Shiva pose when you're standing, yeah. So I got the Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara nicely functioning as I'm according to the different posture I make, and I can dance, and I can sit, and I can eat, and I can talk, and I can twist, and well, I got the Brahma Vishnu Maheshwara there in place, and then their consorts, yeah, their partners, complementary partners. Well, I have the Dashavatara and Dashami, so the pantheon of gods and goddesses, and then we can also talk in terms of Jesus and Allah, and you can talk of what do you call it? Guru Granth Sahib, all of them, one human body. And it's about how you manage, collate all this information while people are also talking about Mars and Higgs boson was discovered, and then they discovered light has magnetic properties. So, and then new things are being discovered as Nobel Prize winners are also discovering new things. So, how then do you collate all of this information? It's a technology. I call it original humane intelligence facilitation. Yeah. So, and it is formed by Prakriti and Purusha. So I kind of rehabilitated what these words means, recalibrated and rehabilitated. Yeah, rehabilitate, kind of. Because now Prakriti means mm, like your body, which is like in constant prayer, whether or not you're speaking. At baseline, we are children of God. Yeah, it's one thing. So, which means I'm always in connection with God because I'm a child of God. Yeah. So, whether or not I'm speaking, whether or not I'm praying, my body is already in connection. Yeah. And my body is also having warm blood, which means I haven't run cold. Yeah. Warm blood. So there is always a light of love, care. And my body, human body is formed from lots of care. Human bodies won't form human bodies without care being part of how human body is formed. Now, that's a speciality, a feature of the human body. I don't know about other organisms. I'm sure somebody cared. Yeah, for us to be on earth, care is an important part. Now, and care also has these faculties called warmth. When there is warmth, you cannot say that if there's warmth, there's always care. But so there's like a range of care. Yeah, but care is there. Yeah, it's like good touch, bad touch. Kids are often taught. So similarly, there's a range of care. Once you're able to discern the range of care, and um, that helps. How do you discern the range of care is also by paying attention to how your body feels, left side, right side, internal and external. And there is warmth, and left and right sides may seem cool and hot, like an internal AC. Yeah. Now, when it's cold, you would need a warmer. When it's hot, you would need a cooler. Yeah. So our body has yin and yang, male, masculine, feminine sides. Now, the male of the human species form from a cooler temperature at about the third week of embryogenesis, of becoming a human in mother's womb. And if it's cooler, male um, of the species form. That's what I got to know. And our body has the Ida and Pingala, which is also talking about the moon and sun, warm and cold. So you have the internal AC going on. Yeah. And paying attention to the warmth and coolness of the left and right sides of your body, or just paying attention to your hands. When it's warm versus cool, not hot or cold, they become extreme. And then they give you uncomfortable, they make you uncomfortable. Yeah. You can feel when your body is too hot or cold. Your chances of getting into uncomfortable dis-ease, lack of ease, becomes a little, under the collar. Yeah. You know. So paying attention to warmth and coolness versus hot and cold. Yeah. Like hot, warm, cool, cold. So staying in the warm and cold has you be more in the middle range rather than going to extremes. Extremes could be, nervous tension, nervous breakdown, or burnout, or so frozen that you can't even think straight. Life kind of shows up nicely. It's a balmy, pleasant weather when you're more in the warm and cool range. Yeah, summer, a little, it's not wintry cold, you need something a little, warm, balmy breeze, and then you have um, nice glowy sunlight and green leaves are rustling and tropical fruits and all that becomes possible. Yeah, warm to cool, it's just that range. And your body can feel it. No matter what geographical location you're in, you have a body that's human, you can feel warm to cool range. And then there's a hot and cold. You can feel warm to cool. Some ingredients help that. For example, if you're going to have, say, little spices that tend to be hot, yeah, or you have, say, warm clothes. You can feel warm versus the hot stuff. You can feel that range. But you could, if you have a difficulty feeling temperature of your body, try using something that's a little too many layers, and then over time you will feel hot. And then you'll know, okay, now this is what hot feels, and this is what warm feels, and this is what cool feels. Okay. You can go to a place that has AC. Yeah. Try sitting there for some time. If your extremities feel other than warm, rather than hot, you're in some range of cool versus cold. This is just to get a feeler for what is hot, warm, cool, cold. If you have a difficulty feeling the range of temperature, or you could make a cup of tea, coffee, warm water, milk, yeah, yeah, and sip it so you know hot versus warm, cool versus cold, some range. This is for your tongue, but what do you do about your skin? Yeah, you may sometimes have gotten habituated to not feeling your temperature. Not everybody is going about feeling temperature. Yeah. Because then you would know there is a hot, warm, cool, cold. And sometimes you just doing things because we have to go out there, earn a living, and then put food on table, and we're just doing stuff. So where's the time to feel all this temperature? And what use is feeling the temperature, except for you're feeling well, but then is that going to put money, money on in the bank or food on the table? Then which information are you paying attention to versus not? The thing is, no matter who you are, no matter what job you do, it's because you are alive and doing well that money has an opportunity to show up in the bank or food show up on the table. So no matter where you are, what you're doing, you being healthy makes sure over time you can become wealthy and wise. Health is wealth. And then there is wealth, and then there is wisdom. So it is wiser to take care of yourself while you're also taking care of different activities of your life. And temperature, warm to cool range, has you be more likely to be healthy and becoming better than if you're not aware of this. and you are less likely to get sick, which means you would have to pay less or save money or use up your saved money for maintaining your own health so that the game goes on. Yeah, continues. So paying attention to warm versus cool has to be more in the range of well enough, and that would naturally also save a lot of money. Yeah, you're likely to have money to invest on vegetables, for example, if that's expensive. But having vegetables has you be more healthy. You could also invest on spices. That also has you be warm enough. That has its own benefits in different layers of our health, maintenance, appreciation of life, because there are different flavors. When you can taste wellness, they do many things to your life. When you can smell wellness, they do many things to your life. When you can see wellness, they do many things to your life. When you can hear wellness, they do many things to your life. They also influence the thoughts you have. They also influence the feelings you have. You're more likely to care versus going to fight, flight, freeze. Yeah, survival versus me versus you, and then humanity across boundaries is more likely to be present when you're paying attention to warmth versus coolness, when you can taste wellness, when you can smell wellness, when you can see wellness, when you can hear wellness, when you can think wellness. Thinking wellness becomes more possible when your sensory experience is a little more pleasant, or you can see the rose versus the thorn. The circumstances may be the way they are. There could be sewage which needs to be cleaned, there could be landfills. But when you're well inside, you will see nice little patterns. Even in the traffic, you'll listen to music because the traffic sounds will sound musical because you are well inside. You are paying attention to warmth and softness. Okay, warmth versus coolness, softness and relaxation. Yeah, kind of. These are all, when you're comfortable, when you're doing well, you tend to feel warm, soft, relaxed. And when you're paying attention to this a lot more, you're more likely to see patterns or music, even in the traffic sounds. There could be landfills, but you'll begin to start seeing patterns even in that. You could make paintings out of it. You can tell stories from, look at this shape of this landfill. You'll make content from that. You'll make you'll make best use out of even that. Best use of available resources become possible when you can feel warmth versus cool. Yeah, soft is nice, relaxed. When you can just spend a little time paying attention to this. Notice what is softness versus hardness. Notice what is in your own body. Notice what is, yeah, from inside. Notice relaxed versus tensed. And stay more with the relaxed than with the tensed. Stay more with the softness versus hardness. Yeah, stay more with the warmth and cool versus hot and cold. So there's a range. We will be just getting familiar with the warmth does makes other things possible. It becomes possible for you to feel the softness when you're staying more with the warmth and coolness. When you can notice that range of warm and cool, it becomes easier for you to feel the softness. And when you can feel the warmth versus cool and versus softness, relaxation becomes more possible. So, yeah, I hope this gives you pause for thought. Yeah, so I will pause with this idea. Do let me know how this shows up for you. How's your experience? Just try this out. Spend some time with your own warmth, the warmth of your own personality, the warmth of who you are, the warmth that is already there in your blood. We are warm-blooded animals. And if it's hot, we could go into burnout. If you're feeling your blood being a little hot and boiling, anger, for example, could cause trouble. If there is hot, if your blood is also boiling, there is warmth. somewhere. Human beings are warm-blooded animals. We are alive because of warmth. If it's hot, we could burn out. We are alive because there is warmth. And then it is, are you aware of the warmth that is already inside you or not? So it's like this wealth of warmth is always there. You're alive, you have a body that's human, you have this warmth. So take some time enjoying the warmth that you already have. Yeah. Notice, where do you notice warmth? Because blood flows all through your body and it's all warm blood. You're alive, you have warm blood. That's what maintains life. That's what maintains you being human also. I, you can imagine animals and plants, but you have a body that's human. Yeah, no matter how you look at it, you have the body that's human, and then you have your imaginations. So take some time to pay attention to the warmth that is there flowing through different parts of your body, which is keeping you alive. Every tissue, cells, tissue, organ systems, they're all alive because there is warmth. Not because of hot or cold. They are there, they are extremes. But the aliveness is because of warmth. So enjoy your own warmth, the warmth of your personality, warmth of your wellness, because you would be well. You would be really well. Yeah. So thank you so much for your warm good mornings. Yeah. Good day. Mhm.